Kathryn Batte, Daily Mail.
Tom, Garry, The Telegraph.
Jen O'Neill, She Kicks magazine.
Simon Collings, Evening Standard.
Okay, so England's strengths. For me, the best thing about this England team is the midfield. That double of Keira Walsh and Georgia Stanway together, I don't think there's many teams that can better that at the moment in the world. Everyone else will be quite envious of that, right?
Yeah, definitely, and I think likewise, kind of going on from midfield, attacking, we've got a lot of options there. Three probably, very, very good strikers in Beth England, Rachel Daly and Alessia Russo, and then very good wide options as well, Lauren Hemp, Chloe Kelly, Lauren James. There's so many options for Sarina Wiegman there to kind of pick from. She'll probably have quite a few headaches, trying to pick that first starting team.
Yeah, it's lots of strength, isn't it, from the depth that they have. So you can't, although at the Euros they played the same team every game, same lineup, going into the World Cup, can we be really 100% sure what she's going to go for? So opponents can't either. And they've got the knowledge of what they did in the Euros, and the confidence that gives to a group of players is massive.
I think the biggest weapon for England in the Euros was the players coming off the bench, the substitutes. Think of the final and Chloe Kelly scoring the winning goal. So I think this time around, Beth England, Rachel Daly, these players coming off the bench, when you get to the knockouts, they can make the difference. And I don't think other squads have got quite as good attacking options as England do.
And I think the potential weaknesses for England, I think there's one or two people who aren't going to be there that are massive misses. Leah Williamson will be missed off the field as well as on the field. Beth Mead's crucial goals, and I think Fran Kirby. For me, Fran Kirby is the big miss because that's the kind of 10 role, the catalyst that creates stuff in tight matches. I don't personally know who's going to fill that role.
That would be my fear would be the sort of leadership element. Jill Scott's retired, Ellen White retired. These are big personalities, and when they're about as far away from home as you can be, you need those players off the pitch for a long time as well. And I think last summer it was all in place, everything was set, you had the leaders, whereas this time we're going to find out who they are over the course of the tournament.
I'm not sure anyone in this squad would hand on heart say their first choice position is left back. We had Rachel Daly play there in the Euros, but she is now predominantly a striker. And you're looking at the two other options, probably Jess Carter and Niamh Charles, who have played there for Chelsea, but not necessarily every week.
And Rachel Daly's going to end up at the back again, isn't she? It's going to happen, isn't it? As much as, she could, it could be a potential sort of huge breakout tournament for her as a striker. You could see her going for the golden boot. She's going to end up at the back.
After the season she's had for Aston Villa, that would almost feel a little bit cruel. Let's talk about Sarina Wiegman. There's sort of a level of calmness. Everything will be okay. Sarina's here now.
It's just a level of detail with everything she does. It doesn't feel like she'll get to Australia and suddenly think, she's caught off guard by anything. It just feels like everything is planned to the nth degree. Away from England, there's going to be plenty of other stars. Alexandra Popp, for me, I think, given everything that happened last summer with missing the final, I just think there's a redemption arc there for her to be the leading line for Germany. And I do agree in that final it would have been a very different game if she was playing. The ability she had against opposition defenders to dominate them physically.
Sam Kerr, the poster star of this tournament for the co-hosts, and you just know she'll turn up on the big occasion, and I would be so surprised if she doesn't go and get a lot of goals for Australia in this tournament.
It's like the Kathy Freeman, isn't she, of 2023? That's what it feels like. And yet we talk to the other Matildas players, and she's the team DJ. She's so relaxed before games, and yet she's like the sort of cornerstone of their chances almost.
Maybe a bit of an obvious choice, but the Ballon d'Or winner, Alexia Putellas, obviously missed the Euros, and that was kind of heartbreaking for her. And obviously, we kind of wanted to watch her at that tournament as well. We don't know kind of how fit she's going to be, because she did come back from injury, but very late on in the season, and she hasn't played many minutes. So we might be expecting a little bit too much from her to sort of kind of produce those levels that obviously won her the Ballon d'Or back to back. She's definitely going to be one to watch.
Well, Putellas is a player that sort of drags her teams to victory. Behind her or around her, buzzing around gracefully is Aitana Bonmati, and I think she can, given that Putellas is still coming back from injury, I think this is a chance for Bonmati to show the world that I am world class as well. And we haven't mentioned Sophia Smith. If the US do win it, she's going to be their breakout star. She's a big name to us already who follow the women's game, but she could become a world star.
What are the chances of a third in a row for the USA? Because that will be what their fans are expecting. What's in their favour? They've been there and done it before. Even though I think 14 of the squad haven't been to a World Cup before, there's still huge experience. Against them, I'm not sure they know what their sort of best 11 is yet? Are they that stable at the back as well? How are we feeling about the USA?
I mean, they've got a huge amount of quality, but you're right, I don't think that it's a settled side by any stretch. And they had an awful autumn, you know, losing 2 or 3, it was unprecedented. I'm not sure they've got quite that quality anymore, but I wouldn't write them off.
I think a big strength for them will be mentality, and their fans and, you know, everyone back home will not accept them not going there and winning that tournament. And I think if any squad can cope with that, it's a sort of USA team who are serial winners.
They've started to fall off at the youth level though, they're not as consistently successful, so maybe there are question marks about the talent coming through.
I think maybe we would have said England before some of those injuries, but I think for me it's probably Germany. I just think they're possibly the most well-rounded team. They might not kind of thrash teams 6 or 7-0, but they're just very, very well organised, very strong defensively, very hard to break down.
I'm also expecting Germany to do very well. They were unlucky last year with the injuries they had at the Euros, and only lost that final on extremely fine margins, and they seem to have got better since then, and I would expect them to be really, really strong, Germany. The only caveat to that being that, like England, they have a hard route to glory in that they're in that tougher half of the draw, so you know the draw was slightly more favourable to the USA, but yeah, for me, Germany are the favourites.
Yeah, I think I'm going to wave the Team Germany Deutschland flag as well. They've got such a stingy, well-organised defence. That is massive, and Merle Fromms is a top-class goalkeeper. But the more then I think about it, I start to think, well, you know, France and Spain are strong as well. It's going to be very, very tight.
Yeah, I think it's quite an open tournament, similar to the Euros, you know, last summer, where you could pick 6-7 teams to go and do it, and I think all the favourites have flaws in them. For me, like you guys, I was thinking England probably, you know, before the injuries hit, before the retirements all came in, but now I'm sort of leaning towards the USA. I just think the pedigree they've got at major tournaments, the fact I think that side of the draw is the kind of side of the draw to be on. So I think I could see the USA going all the way.
Well, I think we can all see it.